What's up, guys? Anthony Carboni back here with you on the main stage here at the E3 2016 LiveCast. I got the guys from Guerrilla Cambridge here with me to talk about RIGS Mechanized Combat League, VR, robot, esports. I'm so into it.
Cool.
And last time, when we spoke at, I believe, PSX, you were demoing the game, but all we really had was like a real quick trailer, and we hadn't seen very much yet. So I'm excited to see and hear some more. It looks like we have some gameplay actually going on back here behind us now. Can you tell us a little bit about RIGS now that we can actually see it and visualize it?
So let's recap. So RIGS is a first-person arena-based shooter, exclusively PlayStation VR. It's set 50 years into the future, and we're colliding sports like motorsports, mixed martial arts, and first-person shooters to create the new Mechanized Combat League. And in this game, you get to play as the sports superstar of the future. You get to pilot these huge mechs, which we call RIGS. They're highly tuned, highly fast sports RIGS, and you fight it out in bespoke combat arenas.
That's awesome. So we're seeing some of it here right now, and I know that you were telling me that there are multiple ways to kind of score and help your team here. So obviously there's a shooter component, but there's a component where like you're using your own rig sort of as a ball to get through hoops and like make shots.
Yeah, definitely. So that this mode here is called Power Slam. And as you say, the aim, there's a big hoop in the center, and you power yourself up either by killing other rigs on the other team or by collecting power spheres that are yellow glowing energy balls around the level. And once you're in overdrive mode, you can go and score. So it's like scoring a basketball shot. And that goes back and forth with each team. That's where the drama comes from.
Of course, beyond that, you can also be defensive in this game. So if you see someone going into overdrive, heading for the goal, you can intercept them, take them down, stop them, knock them away. There's plenty of ways, so it becomes a very tactical match.
That's awesome. So you're also showing off multiple kinds of rigs now.
Yeah, that's kind of the new feature for this year at E3. It's a big different from last year. We're allowing players to select their rig before they go into the match. So we have 6 different ones here. Ultimately, there are 24 in the game, and each rig has a different loadout and ability, so you can choose one that suits your particular style. So for example, one of the ones we've got here is called Rage Quit. He's a hunter class. He's got twin assault cannons, which are like big impulse cannons. So he's very powerful and fast, good for short range, does a lot of damage. So he's my favourite one. So I'm sure Piers is another one.
This is one of our sort of key messages. We've been to a number of trade shows now with RIGS, and we've shown our 3v3 multiplayer demo, and we're super happy with that, really, really cool. But we need to explain to people there's quite a lot more to RIGS, that there's more beyond it just being a multiplayer game. So we have a full offline game mode as well, where you actually get to play through leagues and tournaments and compete in cups and build your team. It's a big game, there's a lot to show off. And as you're playing online or as you're playing offline, all through this you're earning money, and the money allows you to buy rigs. So you can buy any of these 24 rigs, and they will suit your play style. And
gotcha.
That's why we're developing these hero rigs. So
we're getting into progression and like career modes and things like that. That'll help you out both online and offline.
Yeah, completely.
So when I'm playing the single player offline, am I playing the same modes that I would play online? Am I playing with an AI team? How does that work?
So you play the same kind of modes, but yeah, you have 2 AI teammates. So they're teammates that you can pick from a pool of different pilots. So as you progress through the game, earn more currency, you can buy better pilots to progress up the league. So there's this whole kind of game loop there that really gives you a lot of gameplay and a lot of hours, and that's just the single player component.
Yeah, and we have a mechanic based on this, which is fame as well. So as you're playing through the game and you're getting better at it, you're being noticed by sponsors, and your fame level increases, and you need a certain fame level to hire in pilots. So you get the lower league pilots to start with, but as you play the game and get better, your co-pilots will be better, the rigs they bring along will be better, and therefore you can start challenging for the championship.
So you guys are really taking a lot from sort of traditional career and league modes in sort of franchise sports games that we're already familiar with.
Completely, yeah.
And putting it towards robot sports in VR.
That's right.
I am wrapping my head around RIGS more and more, and I'm loving it more and more as we're talking. This is awesome. So you guys, obviously last time we spoke, the other deal is, we didn't know when any of this was coming. We didn't have a date for PlayStation VR yet. We didn't know how far along you guys were. So now we know that we're getting PlayStation VR in October.
Yes.
When are you guys
getting
coming?
RIGS in October, along with PlayStation VR.
So you guys are ready at launch.
Be there.
We'll be there at launch.
That's awesome. That's so great. I love this, and it looks like it's coming along so crazy well. I mean, how much more stuff are you looking at adding? I mean, you said you've got 24 more rigs here. Is there still stuff you're fine-tuning and kind of working out and finding as you're having people demo it?
We're learning stuff all the time. You know, I mean, we've been to a number of trade shows now. We're doing a lot of user testing. The game is continuing to improve, and you know, we'll look to continue to add to it.
What sort of things? This is just out of curiosity for me. From start until now, like what's something that you put in originally where you were like, this is it, this is working perfectly, and then after you went to a trade show or two, you were kind of like, oh no, people want to play it like this. Was there some kind of fundamental shift that you've made?
Well, it was interesting. It's not quite the answer you're looking for. There was one thing we had at E3 that we had previously that we took out for trade shows, which was the ejection. We actually bubbled it up so that you couldn't see it, and people were like, oh man, that was the coolest bit, that you could eject and see what was happening. So that's back in this year, and ultimately it will be a setting that the players can choose.
Oh, that's cool. So the camera kind of cut away and gave you a different...
well, we had, because you have a cockpit bubble around you,
Yeah.
so we filled that in so you couldn't see the environment. But people missed the fact that you could see the ground shooting away from you. So yeah, it's back.
We also have a number of control systems. So when we were here last year, we were showing off the mode that we think is the coolest, which is the aim, look and turn, where as you look left and right, your rig actually moves as well. We're showing right stick at the minute. We have a load of options for people so they can set the game up how they want to play it, how it's most comfortable for them. But of course we get people for 10 minutes, we have to pick some options for them, let them play. But the game will be customizable for people when they're playing it. And that's something we have learned from being at trade shows and user testing.
Well, it's got to be fascinating for you guys because you're not just creating a new sport and a new esports game, but you're also doing it in VR, which it's not like there's a huge backlog of VR sports games for you to look at and go like, oh, that works.
Not many, no.
Yeah, so you're kind of creating all this out of whole cloth.
Yeah.
It's been a learning curve, I think, is how you describe it.
We're a bit grayer.
Yeah, we're a lot grayer. So yeah, I mean, everything, day by day, you go into work and you find a new problem that 20 years of experience working in games does not prepare you for, and you go, okay, yeah, this is VR and we're going to solve this. But that's the cool bit about it. I mean, from a developer's point of view, it's really exciting. There's lots and lots of new stuff for us to try here. And by far the best bit, though, is when we take it to trade shows and like E3 and people, they put the kit on and they play, and then it comes off and you have the big grin at the end of it and you go, yeah, you've got it now, you understand what VR's about, and that's just amazing.
But you also get reminded about, you touch on it, it's a sport, a new sport that we made, and you come here and you realise how good a spectator sport it is as well. We get people stood around watching other people play, particularly if it goes to like a tiebreaker or something, and people are like, oh, am I going to win on this team, and then you generally get that excitement builds up, and that's, I think, a really satisfying thing that we feel like we've made something that people want to play and watch as well. It's cool.
Yeah, and that's got to be kind of cool for you guys too, because obviously there is a spectator mode when you're playing in PSVR, so you can see what the player is seeing, and it's got to be kind of fascinating to watch that from a sports perspective and actually kind of watch it almost like a highlight reel as it's going on.
Yeah, it wasn't something that came about by chance. We have worked very hard to make the game readable from a player's perspective and from a spectator's point of view. So, as Tom says, it's fun watching RIGS. We enjoy sitting up on the booth just over there, as you guys can't see, but watching people play it and their reactions to it and how close the matches can get and the kind of the drama of that last-minute goal.
Yeah.
That's what sports are about, and that's what we've been trying to encapsulate within RIGS.
That's so awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming by.
Thank you.
RIGS Mechanized Combat League is going to be available at launch of PlayStation VR. Thanks for coming by, guys.
PlayStation